all breaks and all renews and is the same. Ashwapati is arguing with the Divine Mother. Their meeting, the meeting of Ashwapati and the Divine Mother, is on the threshold mind. He on this side, she on the other. They approaching from opposite ends. The Divine Mother knows the intention Ashwapati is carrying with him, the intention of his approaching her. But she cautions him. She gives him a bit of an advice not to make haste, not to force the issue, not to compel things to happen the way you would like them to be done in the sort of a hasty manner. She argues that, she tells him, she gives him a piece of advice, a part of wisdom. She conveys to him that it is not proper to force the issue, because if the force, if the divine action were to take place too soon, then this earth might break down, it might collapse under the weight of the supreme force coming here. Things might get crushed, and the very intention of taking this creation forward will be lost, will not be fulfilled. She tells him, well, let slow time carry on its work in its own manner. Prepare gradually, slowly the world for the expression of the Spirit. She tells him, let slow time do its work to accomplish what is intended. Surely all things will change when God's hour of transfiguration arrives. In God's transfiguring hour, surely things will be done, and surely that hour will arrive in the slow pace of time itself, and therefore Ashwapati should wait that to happen. But Ashwapati is not going to accept that proposal. He makes an ardent plea to her. He makes an alternative proposal. He offers not to go by the slow process of time, but to hasten the process of time by she herself taking a mortal birth. She must come down here, take the mortal birth, and lift mortality's load herself. She must bear mortality's load in her soul and take it forward. That is the only way by which the divine force can come here, and it is that birth of hers which will not make things get crushed under its weight. He tells her that the doom that binds a man's soul is too hard, She is bound by the doom, and the doom is too hard for man to bear. He cannot bear that. Possibly, the doom is so heavy, that load is so heavy, things are so hard, possibly time may not be able to remove it even in its long course. Even in its long course, time may not be able to solve the problem. And then he says, well, you are saying that let things happen in the course of time, but things are such here that time may not be able to really bear that load. Even a long scope, opportunity is given for time to work out things. He rather says, how long shall our souls battle with the night? How long this battle, this quarrel, this struggle against the forces of night? How long? Our soul is not able to bear it. Time cannot remove that thing, and you are saying that time will take care of them. It may not happen because the doom that binds us is too hard to be removed, even perhaps by time. And therefore, he says that that cannot be a solution. Century after century has passed, but nothing worthwhile has really happened here so far. Nothing really very remarkable has taken place here at all. There is no ray of the sun entering into the darkness of the night. In fact, if at all, it looks as though the darkness becomes darker by the smaller ray which might enter here. There are no wings of a tree which can lift up the soul of man to the freer skies and to the daylight of the sun. There are no wings for that. Only once in a while, I heard the feet of passing gods. The gods come, go on. Yet nothing much is done. Nothing really achieved anything. All that has been done is still to be done. Yes, things have been happening, but again and again those things have to be done, redone. All breaks and all renews and all remain the same. Nothing changes practically in any significant manner. Too little the strength is born in the soul of man, and it cannot stand the forces of antagonism which constantly attack him. Yet, it cannot be always like that. Too little is the strength that is with man. Too little is his knowledge which cannot dispel ignorance. Even if he grows in knowledge, it remains still ignorant of what knowledge, real knowledge, can achieve. Yet, this creation which we have created here, man's creation, cannot fail. It cannot fail. It should not fail. If this creation is not to fail, then there is only one way out, and that way out is the divine consciousness force herself must take mortal birth, must appear here on earth and bear the suffering, bear the yoke of ignorance and death, and carry things forward. Too little the strength that is born with man. And because of that, all breaks and all renews and is the same.